Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Den of Kings. I am your host, Goddard Ogutu, and my other co-host is.
Gabe Rodriguez.
Don't tell me you're about to forget your name.
Yeah,
We just getting started. Like you can't forget your name now.
I got many names. I got to remember which one I have today.
Well, that sounds like a personal problem. All right. So today we are going to be looking at the roster, and we're doing a little bit of a pre-game or preview of our upcoming season kickoff match against Antioch Rangers. We are very excited. We are at the time of this recording going out, we'll be 2 days, two 2 days. So from Thursday, Friday, and then Saturday is match day. Man, an exciting time, right?
Yeah, yeah. So close for the season opener. Really excited. Um, Even more excited for the home opener, which is special to us.
For sure, and we'll definitely get to that. We'll talk about the the home opener next week. So a week from today, we'll probably review it on Thursday. We'll still touch on it a little bit, but that's not going to be the main focus today. So
No.
roster and season kickoff. So um, awesome. So before we get going, what we're going to do is we're just going to take a time to thank our sponsor. We're going to thank this episode is brought to you by Adegoke Counseling. If you or a loved one are dealing with grief, trauma, or anxiety and depression, Adegoke Counseling is here to help. Caleb specializes in therapy for ages 10 and up, offering compassionate, professional support to help you navigate through life's toughest moments. Here's an exclusive offer just for our listeners. Book your first appointment before April 30th and mention Den of Kings podcast, and you'll get your first month at 50% off. That's right, your first month of therapy at 50% off for just being a part of the Southside family. To get started, call or email Caleb today. Don't wait. Take your first steps now. All right. We are thankful. We are thankful to Adegoke Counseling. So it'll be on the screen. So be sure to go call or email today. All right. Awesome. All right. So I'm happy to be back. Get another episode. That just means we're that much closer to the next episode. So let's get into this roster talk. I'm excited
Yes.
to chat on this because we have a very well, I wouldn't say very, but we do have a different roster this year. You know, we've made some changes, we've grown. Um, what in Gabe, in building the roster, what were some of those things you were looking for, especially around building the core that we had from last year?
What I was looking for was in players that were either similar on style or at the same time, not only just style, but what's the word I'm looking here? Reliability on that part per se. So, I don't want it to be a hinder if I take out one player who's a starter and then put in another player who's a sub. I want it to be at the same quality, if not, close enough to the point where we don't feel we had to play a different game. And with this roster that we have, we won't be doing that much of all, which is a great thing, which we can keep playing our game and then continue on from there.
Yeah, awesome. Okay. So then at that point, how many? Let me see if I can try to maybe rephrase this question a little bit. It's so going into the off season, what was that ratio of old players to new players bringing in? Was it like 70% old players to 30% new players coming in?
I say it was about a 55 players. I think we're getting retention back. We were getting about 55% of players that we had last season. So we had the whole starting 11, and then a couple of the bench players that we kept, that we see as a future with them.
Mm-hmm.
And then with this new group, it's a whole new group when it comes to either mixing up the lineup, especially, it's a good problem to have when it comes to there is guys who have the potential to beat our starters from last season, which is what you want to hear as a coach. You don't want to stay complacent in what you have. Someone once told me when you recruit to replace your starter, which as bad as that sounds, it makes sense on the long run when it comes to, the rest of the league's going to develop. The rest of the league's going to be trying to catch up to you to your level. So why not take one step further into you leveling up right there?
Okay, awesome. All right. So what about let's get into some of the new signings here. We'll talk about the
Yes.
returning in a minute. So, talk me through some of the new signings that we have because, like you said, we've got about a few of them. So about 45% of them are new. So let's kind of
Yeah.
touch on them. Tell me something about them. What can people kind of expect from them?
Yeah, so we have let's start with our striker, right? We have a new striker coming in. His name is Gilly Caldas. He's from, I might be butchering this. Let's see, Recife, Brazil. But he is straight from out of Brazil. But he did attend the University of St. Mary here, and was a major part of that program, especially with that season. They went pretty far into the conference. I believe they went to the conference finals, if I'm not mistaken. If I am, then somewhere at least they made a deep run, at least as well. But during those 2 years, he scored 13 goals, 5 assists, and also was also given. Let's see here. Was also given us the Scholar Athlete Award. So not only is he just really good at on the field, he's pretty smart. So that's one thing to have on the field with some IQ.
Yep.
Another player that we have is Hub, or he says we mispronounce it, but it's because we can't never pronounce it right. So he has yet to find a guy who can pronounce his name right. He says it somewhere like a Hugh, but he just says to call him Hub.
Okay. Well, we're gonna have to ask him. We're gonna have to have him on when he's saying
You're
this.
gonna be there. You're gonna be sitting down with him, and you won't get it right. I promise you, you won't get it right. No one has gotten it right, and I don't know why.
You never know. We never know till we try. I'll have to ask him on that.
Yeah, but then we have Hub, straight from the Netherlands. He also is a player from the University of St. Mary's. But before that, he played for DTS 35 EDE, or I'm not sure if it has a whole pronunciation of it. But he plays in I'm not going to pronounce that league. That is straight up in that language. But he played in the 6th division in the Netherlands, which originally that league was, back in the day, was the 1st division in the Netherlands. It's called the Eerste Klasse. I could be pronouncing it so wrong. This is not. But yeah, I played for them. Good amount of footage on him. We looked at him before we even had a tryout with him. When we saw him in tryouts, it was a no-brainer to have him on the team. And then this season, his only first season, he was integrated as a starter right away at the University of St. Mary's and got 6 goals and 3 assists as a midfielder, and he's not even a striker. So, possible Jude Bellingham.
Okay. All right. Next.
We got next is Jackson Rainforth. So, he is a bit more of a Swiss Army knife. He will be playing as a center back for us, but that doesn't mean he will only be playing as center back. He can play the left back. He can play the 6. He can play anywhere where you put him, right? He's kind of that kind of style guy. He is a local player here. Let me see more information. Sorry, I'm trying to get this information because I don't know this at the top of my head. But he did receive in high school first time all conference, second team all state honors. Then he was also one of the top ranked players in the state of Kansas. Then he went to go on to Ottawa Spirit, which is a team over in Arizona, I believe. in an NAI school, but it's one of the best NAI schools for soccer, where they went to the 2021 NAI National Championship, and they
Mhm.
also attended the next year after that his conference final as well. So that's what he plays. So that's Jackson Rainforth for you,
Okay.
and then we
Um,
got Dylan Hernandez. So you're gonna say something?
no, no, go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay, sorry, mouth drying up here in a bit. So we got Dylan Hernandez, and this is another, I I guess you can say, foreign player. Not really, but really. Um, so Dylan Hernandez is, well, just because he plays right now. So actually, let me go down, then I'll get to the big part of it. Dylan has played in the academy for the USL Academy for the Utah Red Wolves um, for a while, and then ever since U13 to U20, he has played for the Cayman Islands national team. So that is,
Wow.
a lot of
Valuable
experience
experience.
there.
Yeah,
With that, that helped him out, go play at the University of William Drew College. Um, he all in his state. I believe he's, yes, from Utah.
yeah, Utah.
He earned All State First Team honors, 2021 USYS National Championship finalist, and then now he's on the practicing with the men's national team now. He's no longer playing U20, but he's now participating in the men's national team here. And I believe last time we spoke, he will be going out sometime in July to do his international duties over there versus
Yeah.
I think one of them is Honduras. So which is
Okay.
really big for us as a club when it comes to that, and really big for him. So we applaud
For
him
sure.
as well.
Yeah, we applaud him. So we'll be watching carefully and with excitement to see what he can do on the big stage. That's exciting.
Exactly, exactly.
Uh,
Because yeah,
yeah,
if you guys go to our Instagram, you'll see all of the players' new signings, either on our highlights bar on top, or if you scroll down a bit, you can click on on the post, and you can guys see some of their little highlights. Get you hyped up for the season.
for sure, for sure. Okay, let's kind of move through a couple more of these players
Mhm.
a little quickly here. It looks like Miles. We haven't talked about Miles yet. Um,
Yes.
yeah, why don't you quickly chat on him?
Yeah, so Miles is especially very new to us. Came to us not too long ago for a tryout and really amazed us when it came to that way. We weren't really looking for another keeper, but he made us double think that, and it was a no-brainer on that part on signing another keeper. He is well-rounded. He is a perfect veteran keeper from what we need, especially with our young keeper Ryan. I think he will add a lot of. I mean, he has his own practice when it comes to. He's a goalkeeper coach, right? Working for also, I believe, Sunflower State, or at least played for Sunflower State in that part as well. So that would be also a benefit for Ryan, and vice versa when it comes to their. Since I know Ryan can be very aggressive when it comes to when he sees a ball, he's going to get that ball.
Yeah,
Maybe Miles, the teacher, is like, hey, maybe we'll be a little careful right here and there inside the box so we don't
yeah,
cause fouls.
for sure. Okay, Caleb. Let's see. Yeah, Caleb.
Yeah, we got we got three players with Caleb added. So then we have Caleb. Caleb is a little bit different when it comes to these other guys. I mean, when you talk to these other guys, you hear either international stage or foreign players, or even if they're local, they've played at least the highest soccer in college soccer. Caleb, as far as I know, he's an alumni at the university. Gosh, he's an alumni at Grandview High School.
Yeah, my
Play some
alma
soccer here
mater.
and there, unless you know more information, Goddard. But from what I know is didn't really play much college ball, or if he did, but he came to our tryouts. We were looking to fill in the fullback area, and he really succeeded there. And for us, at least for me, was a no-brainer. Talked it over to the coaches, and we said it. we have to sign him before anyone else. He's really speedy. He kind of reminds me of a little bit of a Marcelo, you know.
No, we better not tell him that's gonna go to his head. That is going to go to his head. We're gonna have to humble him a little bit. Let's
Uh,
not do that. Let's not do that.
Maybe less a little bit of you know, a little flashy of it, but like sometimes when you see him with the ball and being a little shifty, maybe he reminds me a little bit of it. I'm not sure. Maybe it's because he's a little, you know, a little short, but you know.
It is what it is. Okay, Sabino.
Yes, Sabino. Let me see here. Yeah, so Sabino is also another player who is from the great state of Texas, um, but also attended the University of St. Mary. That's why I say another. But he was a really great player over in the in the state of Texas. Let me see here. Took his talents to a community college, which is one of the best community colleges you can go to when it comes to the soccer ways. Um, Let me see. He went to Iowa Western, which is one of the, you know, best ones so far, and then he attended the University of St. Mary's there, and that's where he ended his college career with that. But here are some highlights I like to say. Back in 2020, um, he appeared in 6 games, led the team with 6 goals, and also had a game-winning goal for the Spires in that. And then I'm going backwards here. In 2019, he was also named All KCAC Honorable Mention with 16 starts, 9 goals, 3 assists. Mind you, not a striker, not a winger, played as as a midfielder. So 9 goals with 16 starts. You know, really impressive when it comes to there.
For sure.
Then he also won KCAC Offensive Player of the Week. And then at the same time, he has experience when it comes to semi-pro ball, which is playing in UPSL and then USL League One on that part.
Okay. Perfect. And I believe lastly we've got Roma.
No, we got Stanley still.
Oh, Stanley and Roma.
Stanley and Roma.
All right, yeah, let's rattle them off.
And
The
then,
last two of them. Yeah.
yeah, so we got Romario Harding, or as we call him, Roma. Um, dangerous, speedy guy. I'll tell you that. You know, has a body to him and some speed. So if you're gonna try to take him down, he's not gonna be your, you know, skinny speedster out there. Um, but Roma is from Kingston, Jamaica. Um, Let me get some things here. So he played for his hometown club, Raytown is what it was called. Moving on to Harborview, and then played for Central FC and Portlanders, which helped him out develop as a player. With those, it helped him get to the University of St. Mary's, where he racked up for 12 goals and 4 assists, which helped him be a conference team player of the year that time. But like I said, he is a very dangerous player when it comes to, if you see him on the wing, yeah, you're going to just see the back of him. You're not going to see anything else. And then we have Stanley. Stanley came to us late when it came to, he wasn't our traditional tryout player when it came to our tryouts that we held. Got in contact with us, brought him out to practices, wanted to see him how he was with some of the players. Kind of, you know, was a little bit rocky in the beginning, but then he kind of, I believe, was just, you know, first time jitters. And then after a few more practices with us, he became, you know, an important piece to this club when it comes to being part of this roster. And after that, it was a no-brainer to add him. And he is also a Grandview alumni. So at least that's the biggest thing, what we want to do, growing on the south side of Kansas City, especially, you know, Goddard being an alumni from Grandview High School. We want to showcase what Grandview has to come out, because kind of what we were talking with Hartzell Gray, no one really talks about, or there's no really soccer in the south side of Kansas City. And it's not because there's not any talent there. It's just people just avoid talking about it. And what we want to do is the opposite. We want to push. And this year, we've actually really done that when it come to two players from, I think, not the same class, but just back to back of
Yeah,
classes.
for sure. Awesome. So I'm just gonna quickly touch because I know we still have a little bit left to talk about. So here are some of the
Yeah.
returning players from this list from last year. We got Ryan Neal, Aiden Neal, David Hyatt, Hudson Bell, Matt Blaylock, Noah Leonard, David Marshall, Ramis Vasquez. Vasquez.
Vasquez.
I, Ramis. I'm sorry. I don't know what happened. I got tongue tied. I'm so sorry. Nate U. Daly, Elijah Harding, Tony Rangel, Trey Berman, Brian Completo, and Ty Spiegelhalter. I think I said that right.
Spingelhalter. No, I don't know how you say it.
I'm sorry, Ty. I should know. I'm so sorry. You should know better. Oh man. In general, I'm terrible with names. Like, not that I can't remember. Like sometimes I have a hard time remembering names. I'm a little bit better with
Yeah.
faces, but like I can be terrible with names. But what I will say is, once I get it, I generally get it. Like it, I'm not gonna like.
Well, good luck with Hub. If you can get it, you'll be, I think,
Yeah.
the first
But
one
again,
in the
the
US.
caveat is once I get it. That's the caveat. Once I get it.
And then you got Hudson and Matt in there, right?
I did. I did.
Oh, okay, okay. I'm
I
sorry.
went down the list. I went
I
down the
probably zoned
list.
out during that time. My bad. My bad. I'm sorry. Never mind.
They were like 3 and 4 that I mentioned or something, like number 3 and number 4.
Okay, I'm
So
sorry. I'm looking at a different list. That's why I'm looking at the roster on our website. I'm like, you started with Miles, Aiden, and then you went somewhere. I'm like, wait, where are we?
no, I have a different list next to me.
Gotcha.
Okay, so let's jump into the match preview. So we are playing Antioch Rangers on April 5th at Staley High School. Kickoff is at 6 p.m. We are going to be having a live stream. So be subscribed to our YouTube channel to see when that stream is supposed to go live, and just so that way you can see the match. Stay tuned because we are excited for the kickoff. It should be a very interesting one. Antioch, they are newcomers to the league, so there's not too much we know about them right now because they're. I know that they're quietly working from what we can tell. They are quietly working. We've noticed a few pickups that they've had that seem to be quality players coming from some colleges. So I think I saw William Jules. I think I saw some. I might have seen a player or two that I think came from St. Pius. I don't. Or
Yes,
maybe that
one player from St. Pius. Yeah, yeah.
is going to be playing at Antioch.
Yeah. At least one of
So
them.
yeah, so which will be interesting. So that means especially players that are from William Jules. We got a couple players from William Jules, so then that means teammates facing off against each other in the league. So that should make for an interesting match, and we'll see how this will fare. But even though we don't have the lowdown on Antioch's team, how are you going to approach this game? What is going to be the vision of how we're going to attack this match? The kind of that level of tactics that we're going to bring to the field, no matter what 11's out there.
I mean, yeah. So without revealing too much, if the opposition watches this video in the beginning, but we're gonna approach it just like we did last season, and I think is we're gonna approach it how we are this whole first half of the season when it comes to that, because everybody has new players, right? But some of them have returning players, so we kind of know either we have returning coaches or returning players from other teams, so we know kind of what their styles are. Antioch is a different team because we don't know anything about it, so we don't know what they want to play. I just see a lot of young players, so my mind goes to the typical stereotypical of what would a young player want to do, or what would also a coach want to do with these young players on their style, right? So a lot of it is, trying to look up on what they have of, what's it called, on, you know, on highlights, or what they have out there, just to see what kind of player they are. And then once we see that, starting lineup from on game day, we can kind of see and adjust from what we had to go from there. But realistically, I have to focus more on my team than I do on this team, because we have no data on them. So if I don't take care of my team and I'm too worried about Antioch, then we can't play our game. So we're just going to play our game how we did last season. Like I said, we're going to score our goals. We're going to be quick. But not only just only quick the whole time, but we can be patient. And once that opportunity opens, then we can score. Without a doubt, we can score.
Yeah.
So that's the major thing when it comes to playing these new teams, or these new, I guess you could still say new teams, even though they're coming back back this season. But I think like a team like a Lenex, that's a whole new roster. So it's trying to figure out what kind of play, style of play they're going to do. Same thing for Woodland, same thing for Moleta, but those are later games. We don't have to worry about that now. But Antioch's is, we focus on our game and then we adjust accordingly live during the game. Since I have the best help with Coach Dan, helping me out, something that I might miss, and then he can help out, or vice versa.
For sure. Okay. So here's my we're gonna kind of get into something that my pick of people to watch. So I don't know the roster, or not the roster, but I don't know the starting 11, and so I'm like, because I'm not involved in that, because I'm leaving that to you. I have other responsibilities. I kind of chime in if I need to be a sounding board, but I don't know what the tactics are. So my thing is that I'm going to give our viewers potentially one or two players to really look out for, especially not just for this game, but over the duration of the season. Okay. And so with that, that's probably going to be like a little like segment for Goddard. Goddard's player to watch, or player in review, or something. I don't know. We'll figure out the saying of that. But they're the two players. So one player in particular that I feel like everybody needs to look out for is Tony. And Tony was our goal scoring leader, not just among the team, but in the league last year. So I think he's going to be a very impactful winger from the right side typically, and more like an inside winger, cut in, just really, really shifty, really quick. So a lot of high intensity from him in terms of moving the ball forward. I am going to go in an opposite direction on this one, and actually I'm gonna go between the sticks on this, and I think Ryan is very, very impactful player. I can't count the number of times he has bailed us out of tough moments, and single-handedly. I think he has 2 games that he's single-handedly like won for us, in terms of like it turned out into a shootout, and then all of a sudden in clutch moments he just pulled out worldy saves that just really changed the course of the opposition's attack, just deflating flags. I mean, the man is an animal. He pounces at everything. He's quick to everything, and he really makes you second guess, because it feels like he gets everything. So I think between the sticks, Ryan is a person to keep an eye out on, for especially in those tight games that he'll play. So those are my two players to watch out for this year. So we will. I feel like we should make this a segment. Like owner's view or something. I don't know.
A cool little 7 minutes. If you just talking.
Yeah, just ranting and talking.
So Coach Gabe didn't, dude.
That's so funny. All right. So I believe that we're kind of at the end of our show here. So just to kind of let people know, again, April 5th is our home opener. You can come out to the game. I believe Antioch is not charging for tickets, so entry is free. But we will be live streaming the game if you're not able to make it out. So this is our first year at attempting at a live stream, so it might be a little shaky. So we just ask for your patience as we try to sort this out throughout the course of the season. But we are looking to live stream and bring every opportunity of content to you guys at every turn. With that said, if you're coming out to the games, our merch store is live. So be sure to head over to Southside FCKC.com to make sure you get your merch today and click on shop in the menu. Lastly, home opener or our home opener is April 12th. April 12th against Liberty FC. So we're excited to see everybody to come, and we're excited to have Herzl Gray join the fans and be a part of this electric day as we get started to really defend our turf. By the way, I was looking at stats last year. We only had 2 losses at home all year. 2, which is nuts. Which means we were 7-0-2 at home. 7-0-2 at home. So our last loss came in, I believe it was June against Woodland. But after that, we won our remaining 3 on the bounce. So we're looking to continue keep a strong a strong presence of home, have teams fear to come play against us in South Kansas City. So, but yeah,
Don't worry.
so
Don't worry. Those losses, it won't come back again, at least at home. Uh, Once we figured out that back line, we didn't lose after that. Once we did, we didn't lose.
yeah, for sure, for sure. So, anyways, but thanks guys for tuning in for another episode of Den of Kings. We are excited. Also, be sure to head over to check out Caleb Adegoke, so Adegoke Counseling, and be sure to mention Den of Kings for your 50% off on your first month of counseling sessions. But apart from that, we're excited for the start of the season, and we hope to see you guys there. All right, have a good one.